Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News. The sun had barely settled into its golden hour glow, casting long, warm shadows across the manicured lawn of the Golden Bachelor Mansion. A gentle breeze teased the sparkling fountains, carrying the scent of fresh roses and the faint aroma of champagne. For Mel, this was more than just another group date. It was the moment he had been both dreading and anticipating. The limo arrivals. As the chauffeur's horn echoed in the distance, Mel straightened his tie, inhaled deeply, and tried to compose himself. "All right," he muttered under his breath, "let's do this. Deep breath. Be charming. Be smooth." But nothing could have prepared him for the spectacle that was about to unfold. The first limo rolled up with the elegance of a royal procession. Out stepped Cindy, whose radiant smile could have lit up an entire stadium. Mel felt his heart skip a beat, not that he'd admit it aloud. She floated toward him in a flowing dress, her confidence bordering on regal. "Mel!" she exclaimed, throwing her arms open. Mel stepped forward, trying to muster a suave demeanor. "Cindy, you look... wow." Cindy winked, and just like that, the room felt charged with an electricity he hadn't anticipated. The producers caught it immediately, exchanging knowing glances. This was exactly the kind of magnetic first impression they loved to capture. Then, as he stepped back to greet the next arrival, his inner voice whispered, "Okay, Mel, brace yourself. This is only the beginning." The next limo's door swung open, and Mel's jaw nearly hit the ground. Out stepped Teresa, not in the soft, classic style he expected, but in a bold, fashion-forward ensemble that screamed confidence. Her laugh, boisterous and unapologetic, filled the air. "We can call it a wrap right now," Mel blurted before he could stop himself, staring in equal parts admiration and disbelief. Teresa tilted her head, bemused. "Excuse me?" Mel waved his hands, embarrassed. I mean, wow. Just wow. You're something else." This was the moment the cameras lived for, a perfectly candid reaction from the Bachelor, completely unfiltered. The producers barely had time to hide their smiles behind their clipboards. Teresa, sensing the moment, leaned in with a mischievous grin. "Don't worry, Mel. You're not the only one shocked today." Mel's pulse raced. Could this really be happening? Were the next arrivals going to keep toppling his expectations, one after another? By the time the third limo approached, Mel had begun to feel a mix of exhilaration and dread. The limo doors opened, revealing Gary, the quiet, thoughtful one he had noticed on his bios. She stepped forward gracefully, exuding an understated elegance that contrasted sharply with Teresa's audacious energy. Mel's reaction was more composed this time, but internally he was in turmoil. The personalities were colliding in his mind like fireworks. Cindy's warmth, Teresa's boldness, Gary's poise. And then it happened, the fourth limo, the moment that would define the first impressions of the entire season. Out stepped Patricia, known among the cast for her unpredictable charm. She didn't walk, she sauntered, sashaying as if the world itself were a runway. Her sparkling earrings caught the sunlight, and she flashed a smile that could only be described as dangerously captivating. Mel's eyes widened. "Okay, we might need a second take on this one," he muttered, secretly hoping no one had heard. As the limos continued to arrive, Mel's reactions became a mix of astonishment, delight, and a dash of comedic terror. Each woman brought her own energy, her own style, her own unpredictability. Some were bold and daring, others sweet and charming, but all demanded his attention. By the time the last limo had pulled up, Mel felt like he had run a marathon without moving an inch. His heart raced, his palms were sweaty, and his mind was a whirlwind of possibilities. "You've got to be kidding me," he whispered under his breath, staring at the line of women now gathering around him. "All of them, right here, right now." Producers murmured in excitement. This was the perfect opening episode reaction, a goldmine of candid emotion, authenticity, and just the right amount of chaos. Amid the swirl of introductions, Cindy pulled Mel aside for a quiet word. "You okay?" she asked, her voice gentle but teasing. I don't even know. It's a lot. I mean, I didn't expect..." "Expect what?" Cindy prompted, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. I didn't expect this level of... Wow, Mel admitted, gesturing vaguely toward the gathering. Every one of you has, I don't know, flipped the script. Cindy chuckled. Well, Mel, that's just the beginning. If you think this is shocking, wait until the dates start. Mel nodded, taking a deep breath. His first impression might have been chaotic, but it was genuine. And for the first time that evening, he felt ready to embrace the unpredictable adventure that lay ahead. Backstage, producers were buzzing. Did you see his face? One whispered. That line, we can call it a wrap right now, it's perfect. That's going to be the headline of the season. Mel, meanwhile, was struggling to regain composure. He knew he had given the cameras exactly what they wanted, but he also knew something deeper had happened. The first impressions weren't just about looks or charm. They were about the spark, the unspoken chemistry, the unpredictable moments that made him question everything he thought he knew about love at this stage of life. Later that night, Mel sat with the women for a casual dinner. The mood was warm, the wine flowing, but the memory of the limo arrivals lingered. Teresa laughed as she recounted the moment she saw his face. You didn't even try to hide it, she teased. Mel grinned sheepishly. I couldn't. Come on, you all. Every single one of you, just wow. Gary leaned in, smiling softly. I think that's a good thing. Shows you're human, shows you're real. Cindy reached across the table, touching his hand lightly. And that's exactly why we're here, isn't it? To find real connections, even if the first impression is shocking. As the night wound down, Mel stepped onto the balcony, gazing at the stars above. The mansion was quiet now, the echoes of laughter and chatter fading into the night. He thought back to that first moment, the shock, the thrill, the surprise. The line slipped out before he could stop it. We can call it a wrap right now. And in that instant, he realized it wasn't just a reaction to appearances. It was a reaction to possibility, to the unpredictable, messy, beautiful journey of finding love again at this stage of life. Mel smiled, feeling both exhilarated and humbled. This was going to be one unforgettable season, and he was ready to embrace it, every shocking, heartwarming, and hilarious moment. As Mel returned inside, the sound of another car horn echoed in the distance. He froze. Another surprise? Another twist he hadn't seen coming? The camera zoomed in on his face, capturing the exact moment the audience would never forget. Eyes wide, mouth slightly open, a laugh ready to escape. Mel was caught between disbelief and excitement. Bring it on, he whispered almost to himself. This is just the beginning. And with that, the first impressions were officially in the books. Chaotic, shocking, hilarious, and absolutely unforgettable.
With quiet tension. Mel paced back and forth, checking his reflection in a grand, gilded mirror. The tailored suit hugged him perfectly, but it felt like armor against the emotional whirlwind he knew was coming. Producers hovered nearby, clipboards in hand, whispering instructions and offering reassuring smiles. Remember, Mel, one said, just be yourself. Let the cameras catch it all. He nodded, though his stomach twisted. He had seen the promos, the bios, the teasers, but seeing the women in person? That was a different level. Every year, the first limo arrivals set the tone, and this year, he had no idea what he was in for. A distant horn echoed, followed by the smooth growl of the first limo. Mel straightened, smiled, and whispered, "Here we go." The limo door opened, and there she was, Cindy. A vision of elegance and warmth, her smile could melt even the most cautious heart. The sunlight caught the sequins on her dress, making her shimmer as she stepped forward. Mel's internal monologue. Wow. She's wow. Okay, Mel, keep it together. Cindy, Cindy exclaimed, arms open wide. I laughed nervously, extending his own. Cindy, you look incredible. She twirled, the skirt of her dress fluttering like a soft wave. This is exciting, isn't it? It was. And just like that, the air between them charged with electricity. Mel felt a spark, one that he hadn't experienced in years. Producers whispered excitedly, "This is gold." Mel, trying to remain composed, led her toward the rose-lined path. Inside, his heart raced, but he tried to stay grounded. After all, this was just the first limo. The second limo rolled in, doors opening to reveal Teresa. She didn't walk, she owned the ground beneath her. Her outfit screamed confidence, bold colors clashing in a way that was perfectly her. Mel froze. We can call it a wrap right now, before he could stop himself. Teresa raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. Excuse me? Wow, you're stunning. Absolutely stunning. Teresa laughed, a full, confident laugh that echoed across the lawn. I like a man who speaks his mind, she teased. Mel's pulse raced. How was it possible that the first two arrivals had already left him breathless? Cindy leaned in, whispering, This is going to be an interesting night. Mel's thoughts, interesting? This is chaos. Pure chaos. The third limo approached. Out stepped Jury, quiet, graceful, and sophisticated. She didn't command attention in the same way Teresa did, but she had a presence that quietly demanded respect. Mel approached, a more composed smile on his face this time. Jury, it's wonderful to meet you in person. She smiled softly. Likewise, Mel. I have been looking forward to this. Her calmness was a balm to the whirlwind of emotions he was already experiencing. Cindy and Teresa were both high-energy forces of nature. But Jury? She was the grounding center. Mel thought, this season is already proving to be unpredictable, and I love it. The fourth limo's doors swung open with a flourish, revealing Patricia. She didn't just walk forward, she glided, her every movement theatrical, magnetic, impossible to ignore. Mel's internal reaction, okay, stop, just stop, I can't. This isn't fair. Patricia's eyes sparkled as she surveyed him. Mel, I hope you're ready, because I am. He stumbled over his words, unsure if he was responding verbally or internally. Yes, ready, I think. She laughed, a sound that was equal parts mischievous and enchanting. Cameras captured every second. Producers whispered, this is going to break the internet. Mel muttered under his breath, we might actually need a second take, just for me. By the fifth limo, Mel's reactions were less controlled. Each arrival brought a new twist, laughter, sass, elegance, unpredictability. Linda, the playful adventurer, threw herself into a dramatic curtsy. Nancy, the witty intellectual, shook his hand with a smirk as if already challenging him. Barbara, the quiet charmer, gave a shy smile that nearly made him melt. Mel's internal monologue had devolved into chaos. How am I supposed to pick favorites? How can anyone survive this first impression round without fainting? Cameras caught everything. The wide-eyed awe, the stammering compliments, and the small moments of awkward charm that made him human. After the last limo had pulled away, Mel stood momentarily alone. The women were mingling, laughter and chatter filling the air, but he needed a second to breathe. Cindy appeared beside him, offering a comforting smile. You okay? Yeah, I admitted. Wow, all of you. This is a lot. She laughed softly. That's the point, Mel. The first impressions are supposed to shake things up. He nodded, realizing she was right. Every reaction, every stunned expression, every laugh, it was all part of the journey. Later, at dinner, the energy shifted. The women shared laughs, stories, and subtle glances at Mel. Each exchange revealed personality layers he hadn't expected. Teresa teased him mercilessly, keeping him on his toes. Jury offered gentle insights, softening the chaotic energy around her. Patricia kept him guessing, unpredictable and daring. Mel realized that the limo arrivals weren't just about first impressions. They were a prelude to a deeper adventure. Every reaction, every stunned expression, every laugh was a clue to who these women truly were. As the night wound down, Mel stepped onto the balcony, gazing at the stars. He thought back to his line, "We can call it a wrap right now," and smiled. It wasn't just a humorous slip of the tongue. It was a genuine reaction to the whirlwind of personalities, emotions, and beauty that had just unfolded before him. He whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning. The adventure, The chaos, the surprises, all of it. I'm ready. The camera lingered, capturing the perfect moment of contemplation, a hint of excitement, and the promise of drama yet to come. A horn echoed in the distance. Another limo? Another twist? Mel froze, eyes widening. Bring it on, he whispered with a grin. We've
The
only
Golden
just
Bachelor
started.
mansion looked like a palace in the late afternoon sun. The fountains sparkled like diamonds, and the roses smelled sweeter than Mel could remember. He paced near the grand staircase, adjusting his tie for the fourth time. Deep breaths, Mel, he muttered, looking at his reflection in the mirror. You've done this before. Sort of. Just don't embarrass yourself. Producers hovered discreetly, whispering instructions and checking cameras. One leaned in, teasing. You know, your first impressions are literally going to set the tone for the season. Mel nodded, though his stomach was doing somersaults. He wasn't worried about looking perfect. He was worried about feeling something real in this whirlwind of glamour, charm, and chaos. Then he heard it, a distant horn, low and commanding. His heart jumped. Here it comes. Cindy. A warm glow. The first limo glided into view. The sun caught Cindy's sequined dress perfectly, making her shimmer like a star descending to earth. She stepped out with a poised confidence that instantly disarmed Mel. "Mel!" she cried, arms wide open. Mel's response was instinctive. "Cindy, wow! Absolutely wow!" She laughed, twirling gracefully. "You're even taller than I imagined." Mel chuckled nervously, offering his hand. "And you're stunning." Her eyes sparkled, a mixture of mischief and warmth. The cameras captured every flicker of emotion, every small blush on his cheeks. Mel felt a thrill. This was exactly why he signed up for the Golden Bachelor, to feel something. Inside, his thoughts swirled. This is amazing. She's amazing. I'm not ready, and yet I am. Teresa, boldness overload. The second limo arrived like a bolt of lightning. Out stepped Teresa, a tornado of energy wrapped in a bold, fashion-forward outfit. She laughed, a sound that echoed across the lawn, unapologetic and alive. Mel froze. Words tumbled out before he could stop them. "We can call it a wrap right now." Teresa cocked her head, amused. "Excuse me?" Mel waved frantically. I mean, you're incredible. Bold, brilliant, wow." She grinned, sensing his flustered state. "I like a man who says exactly what's on his mind." Cindy, standing nearby, whispered, "You're in trouble, Mel." Mel could only laugh nervously. This is chaos. Beautiful, thrilling chaos. Jury. Calm in the storm. The third limo arrived more quietly, almost serenely. Out stepped Jury, radiating understated elegance. She moved with quiet confidence, her smile gentle but compelling. Mel approached, this time trying for calm composure. "Jury, wonderful to meet you." "Likewise, Mel," she replied softly. Her calmness was a relief, a grounding force amidst the whirlwind of first impressions. Mel felt a flicker of peace. Maybe he could survive this first round. Maybe he could handle it. Inside his thoughts, Cindy sparks warmth, Teresa sparks fire. Jury sparks something steady, a balance I didn't expect. Patricia, the wild card. The fourth limo's doors opened with dramatic flair. Patricia stepped out, sashaying as though the world were her stage. Every movement screamed confidence, every glance suggested mischief. Mel stammered, "Okay, stop. I can't." Patricia laughed. "You're cute when you're flustered." He scrambled to recover. "Yes, I mean you're... wow. Absolutely wow." Cameras zoomed in, capturing every second. Producers whispered excitedly, "Perfect reaction. This is gold." Mel muttered under his breath,
We might need a second take for my sanity. Linda, Nancy, and Barbara, the energy multiplies. The next 3 limos arrived in quick succession, each introducing a new layer of personality. Linda, playful and adventurous, threw herself into an over-the-top curtsy. Nancy, witty and intellectual, smirked knowingly, clearly sizing him up. Barbara, soft-spoken but charming, smiled shyly, tugging at his heartstrings. Mel's internal monologue spiraled. How am I supposed to process this? How is this even real? Every reaction was caught on camera, every blush, every laugh, every stumble. The first impressions were electric, a symphony of personalities converging in one lawn, one moment. A glimpse behind the scenes. Backstage, producers whispered like conspirators. Did you see his face? One asked, that line, we can call it a rap right now. It's gold. It's going viral before it even airs. Mel, unaware in the commentary, tried to collect himself. He knew he had given the cameras everything they wanted, humor, astonishment, charm, but he also felt something deeper. This isn't just about appearances, it's about connection, chemistry, something real. And maybe I'm ready for it. Section 8. Dinner Sparks. Dinner that night was a different kind of chaos. Laughter, flirtation, teasing. Mel found himself caught in a whirlwind of personality clashes and sparks. Teresa teased relentlessly, keeping him on his toes. Jury shared thoughtful, soft-spoken insights. Patricia kept him guessing, unpredictable at every turn. Cindy bridged humor and warmth, grounding him. As the night progressed, Mel realized the limo arrivals were just the prelude. The real adventure, discovering who these women were, who he could truly connect with, was just beginning. Later, Mel stepped onto the balcony, gazing at the stars. He replayed his words, "We can call it a rap right now." It wasn't just a slip, it was genuine awe, the honest reaction of a man seeing a whirlwind of personalities, charm, and beauty converging for the first time. He whispered, "This is only the beginning, and I'm ready." Section 10. Cliffhanger. The adventure continues. A distant horn sounded again. Another surprise? Another twist? Mel froze, eyes wide. "Bring it on," he whispered. "We've only just started." Cameras captured the moment perfectly. Excitement, disbelief, and the promise of a season full of romance, drama, and hilarity.